Where is home for me?
Home.
Oh, that's yeah. Home for me.
Yeah, home is a very interesting topic for me.
It is a really simple and innocent question that should be really simple to answer. Yet I don't have a simple answer.
Home for me, it used to be a lot easier to describe what home was before I had moved to Mozambique and here because I only had one home.
Home for me is a place that I feel safe, I feel welcome.
So being here, well, in New York for 5 years and then here at Messiah for 5 years and then in all the other countries I've lived in, I think home is essentially, it sounds kind of cheesy, but it's where the heart is and where the people you love are.
That phrase, home is where your heart is, seemed to be the perfect description, but now I feel like my heart is in so many places.
It's really difficult to move around so much, especially the shorter moves, because I always knew, oh, I'm not going to be here for long. How much effort am I going to put into these friendships? And even though it was really hard on both me and my family, I wouldn't change it for anything in the world because I got to see so many different people and so many different cultures, and I got to experience the world in a way many people don't have the opportunity to.
The different challenges I face being in a different country would be probably, I don't know if you know what FOMO is, the fear of missing out. So just going on Snapchat, seeing my friends all back in Kenya having fun, all that, it makes me miss home. There's also just the occasional homesickness. So I never thought I'd miss my sisters as much as I do. But every now and then we'll text and I'm like, oh, I miss my sister, everything like that.
I think that when I first left Malaysia, this was not something that I expected to be confronted with. I thought that Malaysia would always be home for me. But now I feel torn between two countries, two cultures. And I know a lot of people go through that in more difficult ways. I was used to having such a huge family, like all of the extended members of my family around me all the time. There was so much a part of my life. And then when I came, it was only just me and my nucleus family. So that was very, very difficult to also get used to.
I mean, I was ready to leave my family and like ready to learn what that independence was like. But of course, obviously, seeing them every day, coming home to them, having that familiarity, that rhythm, that schedule, familiarity was a huge thing for me to leave behind.
When I was growing up, me and my brother, my parents, we moved around so much that like we never really stayed in one fixed place. But you know, we got really close and stuff. But like I realized that, you know, it's more of a feeling, an unconditional love that you have between other people and other people have towards you. That's what makes a real home a home.
Because I moved here at a young age, when I was 12, not like when I was 18 or something, we used to go back home almost every summer. We would try to go for Christmas. So it wasn't like I never saw home again. And I used to find myself sitting on the plane, like just trying to change my mentality, trying to change my culture just so I could fit in again when I went back home. And then when I was coming back, I would change that again into the American culture. So because of that, home stopped being in Rwanda, and then it was never here. I never considered here home.
So when I went back, it was weird because I started talking and stating my opinions, and my family would just look at me and was like, "What are you saying right now?" Like, and when issues arise between my families, and then everyone would keep quiet, I'm like, "Guys, we're in a car right now. We need to talk." And then everyone was like, "No, we don't have to. It'll be fine. We'll sleep it off." And that was just, it became a weird concept for me. I didn't know how to communicate with my family members.
Even when I was back in Zambia, I kind of like didn't live in the same place for a long time. I moved around. So for me, home was wherever I find people that I come to be close with.
that's what I call home for me.
Hong Kong's very westernized, so even though I was growing up in a Chinese culture, it was still very influenced by Western culture. So it wasn't completely like culture shock, but I actually came to Messiah with 2 other girls from Hong Kong, Hannah Ling and Charmaine Lim. So I didn't really know them too well, but because we had that common factor and we knew of each other, we knew each other, it was really easy to get along and click. So they're not still my best friends, they are my best friends, and it's nice to have them as like a secure foundation that I can always go back to.
With the people that were around me, like I mentioned earlier, having that support group was really good in the sense that it helped with the homesickness, so that was no longer an issue. Since I made new friends, it made it easier to not feel like I'm missing out, but now I was more involved. And also, just having an open mind allowed me to just broaden how my multicultural perspective, so it helped with getting over all these things.
I remember as a first year when I came here, I was being hesitant and terrified to speak up in class because, you know, I knew that my English grammar was not perfect and I didn't want to embarrass myself. I found myself like reaching out to the professor with like questions and feedbacks, and that actually, I don't know, made a strong impression.
Well, I wish people would ask more questions about back home. Sometimes I feel like people, they don't know if we're comfortable or not with speaking about our homes since we're far away and we miss it a lot. But it's very helpful when people ask about it and we can talk about how things are back home and the things that we miss and the people that we left behind. So
for me, it's been challenging just to, right now as I'm graduating and thinking about what are my next steps in life, thinking about, well, where do I go from here? Do I go back to Malaysia? Do I stay here in the States? Where is home for me truly? I think not having that sense of home is frightening. It's scary because it feels like there's nowhere to go, to fall back on, to be at peace. But I think I'm also learning to find peace in this confusion and this discomfort of where is home. So I know that's an experience that not a lot of people would understand, because especially if they haven't left home. But for people that do feel that way, know that you're not alone. And for people that don't feel that way, know that there are people around you that struggle with this. So whenever you can, try to be home for people as well.